This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I think that today we are going to work on one of the small, maybe I can say one of the small project. Okay, so I'm opening the document. Okay, so this is the document. So we are going to develop the component which is similar to I think it is taking some time to go. Okay, similar to how you are seeing here. Maybe I need to similar to this. We show the table along with the row level actions, and also we provide the pagination buttons and display which page we are seeing out of total number of pages. On click on next, it should display the next set of records. And also when you click on the view icon left side, the actions, we should be able to see that record, whatever the on which record you clicked on view that record. And when you click on delete, the record should be deleted. And also when you click on edit, one form should open and we should be able to modify. Technically, we are going to cover few things like internally how we use Lightning data service to delete the record without writing the Apex code. When you click on edit, so far we used Lightning data services by using force record ID directly. So there are some standard components provided by Salesforce. So record form, record edit form, all those things we are going to discuss. Okay. So just so that's what we are going to do. Maybe so when we see the form like this, and after saving, you see like this. Some of the screenshots I have provided here. More or less, we are going to follow these steps. We are going to first create a basic data table and develop a pagination component and use that pagination component in that data table and do that. Maybe let's first develop the pagination component and later I'll show you how we use this in the data table. Okay. For that, to see the preview, I'm opening developer console. First of all, we need to create, so far still we cannot see the preview. So I'm creating one of the Aura component now. Press F1, Aura component. I'm giving the name as pagination. Pagination. This is a component name. In this, all I do, I'll show those buttons, the pagination buttons. So when you click on next, what should happen? All that information we keep inside this component. Okay. To show the buttons. Okay. So go back and go to Lightning component library. We have many standard components. I'm going to take the button group. It's a left side under Lightning button group. Okay, so these are the buttons, right? Basic button group. Maybe I want to use this. So just a copy, and I'm giving here for the pagination buttons. First, previous, next, and the last. Those buttons I'm going to display. And also, So what I want, which page number we are seeing out of total number of pages. Okay, to hold the page number and the total, maybe the last page number and all those kind of things. Okay, so here, so I'm going to keep some of the attributes to hold. Okay, so page number at present, which page number we are seeing. Okay, to hold that, I am defining one of the attribute name equal to page number. Okay, and type is equal to integer. By default, I am giving as 1. So that is what I am giving. Okay, so this is one of the attribute, and also these buttons dynamically we should be able to enable and disable. Let's say already if you are on the first page, the first and the previous buttons should be disabled. Already if you are on the last page, the last and next button should be disabled. To hold that last page number, okay, I am also defining one of the attribute to hold last page number. Okay, one is the current page number, the other one the last page number. This we have to calculate. I'll show you how we can calculate. Okay, now, so what we need to do on these buttons, the first button should be disabled already if you are on the first page. This is only the logic related to buttons. We are showing 4 buttons. When those buttons should be enabled, when those buttons should be disabled, and also out of, let's say, total pages 10, out of 10 pages, how many, which page you are seeing, all those things to show. Okay, maybe this one also. So without UI, we cannot understand. So what I'll do, just placing that here, C colon pagination. Okay, so still we did not deploy. First we have to deploy this. Okay, I think something is wrong. So it should be Aura attribute, right? Aura attribute deploy. Okay, so now here save it and try to see the preview. Okay, so these are the buttons. First and the previous button should be disabled already when you are on the first page. So here for the lightning button, we have one of the attribute disabled. So when it should be disabled, if v dot page number, the page number is equal to 1, that time, if it is true, it will be disabled, right? So same thing for previous. Okay, so first and the previous buttons will be disabled. So next, so here the last button and next button should be disabled if the page number is equal to last page number. So if both are same, then it should be disabled. Okay, so now here I am checking if the page number is equal to last page number, then disable the last 2 buttons, last page number. Okay, and also maybe on UI, I want to see how exactly, right, which page we are seeing out of total number of pages. For our testing, here I'm giving default as 10. Okay, anyway, we are going to replace that with the original value. So for our testing, Now here I'm taking a div tag. So inside that I'm going to keep. Um, so in the mockup, if you see how we are showing here, page 1 of 11, something like this, right? So here I'll say page v dot page number. Whatever the page number is there, that page number. Say page, the current page number of the total number of pages, right? The last page is nothing but the total, right? V dot last page number, okay, like that. Okay, so now, so what it will do, current page number, first initially 1 and the last page number 10. Okay, we'll see that, and initially you will see the first and the previous buttons as disabled. Okay, go back. Now just to see the preview. You see first and previous buttons are disabled, but it is on top, right? Somehow I need to move this to down. I want to give some padding. For that, I'm opening Lightning Design System. Under Utilities, you can see the padding. Right? Under Utilities, go to Padding, and padding around. Okay, so let's say I'm going to give padding around maybe small. This class I'm going to use. Just here I'm using deploy. Can go back and just refresh. You'll see, I think it is now better, right? So page 1 of 10. Now when I click on next, the page should be incremented, right? Next, the page should be incremented. And we have to see the next set of records, but that part we deal in the other component. Here, at least this page number should be incremented. And once it reaches the last and the next button should be disabled. For that, whenever we click on any one of this button, okay, for all these buttons on click, I'm going to call the same function. Okay, c dot handle button click. Okay, this is a function name. When we click on any one of these button, instead of calling separate functions, I'm calling the same function. Same function I'm calling. But how we differentiate which button we click, that is based on the event. Right? I think yesterday one of the question event dot get source. This is the situation we have to use when you click on a button. When you click on any button, we are calling the same function, right? So, but due to which button that function is called, we can know by using event. So, because all these are the standard Lightning components, to hold that information, event dot get source, we have to use that. Okay. Now let's define the controller for this. So open controller, in the controller, and maybe the function name here we are giving like this. So this should be the function name when this is called. So here, first of all, I want to know the button label, right? Button label, I want to know. I'm defining is equal to event dot, right? Which due to which button click this function is called event dot. Since this function is calling from one of the standard Lightning component, that is Lightning button. So we have to use get event dot get source. Okay, so like this. Now, when you give like this, whatever it gives is the entire element. When I click on this button, let's say if I click on this button, this entire button information it will give. This is also like that component, entire component. So in the button component, if I want to get the label, right? So even our custom component, if you want to get the attribute, what we do, dot get, and to refer any attribute, we say v dot. Right? Here also same thing. This is the button component. In that, what we need, which attribute we want, I want label. So I'm saying v dot label, right? So this will hold label, the button label. Now here I'm checking if the button label is equal to first. Triple equal to means along with the data type also we are checking, right? If it is first, maybe else. So we have 4 buttons, right? If it is previous, if it is next, if it is last. So what you want to do? So that logic we are going to write now. So let's say you are on third page. When you click on first, by default it should come to the first page, right? So here blindly we need to set the page number, whatever the page number is there, component dot set. We have to set that, reset that page number to 1. Okay, v dot page number, we need to reset it to 1, right? So now let's say I click on next button. When we click on next button, the page number should be incremented. Second page it should go. Okay, so for that, what I am going to do now, when we click on next, we have to replace this with the current page number in that attribute, whatever is there, plus 1. To get the current page number, component dot get v dot page number, right? That is our attribute. Now what it will do, this is the current page number in that attribute. Let's say current third page, it will give 3. Since we clicked on next button, 3 plus 1, 4. The next page it will go. Okay, so it's like that. In the same way, when we click on previous button, the page number should be decremented. Whatever the current page number minus 1. And when we click on the last, right? So what should happen? All we need to replace that page number with the last page number. That page number should be whatever the last page number is there, that one, right? So when you click on last, directly it should go to 10th page. So that's what we are doing here. Okay, and also for us to know really what is the value it is holding, I'm also printing in the console.log component.get v dot page number. Okay, so every time in the console it will print that page number for our, as a developer, for us to know. Okay, so that's it. That's the logic. Okay, now when you click on next, this logic will be executed based on the button. So that corresponding values we are setting and control the pagination. Okay, let's deploy and see how it is working. So right click and deploy. Okay, I think here unnecessary, I did not remove, I think.
Comma 10.
Sorry, yeah, one
Yeah,
is
here.
unnecessary. So now it is saved, right? Now let's go back and just refresh. Now when you click on next, 2, right? When you are on second page, all buttons should be enabled. When you again click on next, incrementing when you are on the last page, right? So this part is working, but how we get the subset of records out of multiple records, that we'll see while using this. Okay, for now, this component is ready. We are separating this logic from the data table logic. Okay, so now let's create the data table component and use this one. Okay, so for that, so since we need the data table, actually we also have the data table, but here also data table with actions and some of the, but the way how we include here is completely different. So really, this look and feel getting like this and working is difficult when you go with the standard data table. So for this, I want to go with my custom approach without depending upon the Lightning data table, one of the standard component. We are developing in a custom way by our own. Okay. For that, what I'll do, let me create that component. So I think we are following this document. I'm going to create with this name. Okay. Press F1 Visual Force component. So this is the component. So main thing here, so what we want to display, the table, right? The custom table. Further to inspire to know what is the CSS. Okay, we have to copy from. Technically, no one can type everything. So we have to see these examples and which is suitable, we can go with that. Okay. So out of all these tables, let's say I want to go with this. Okay. So I'm copying this entire thing, pasting here. Okay, so now I think we copied, and now, so let's say we are going to display. I can also make it more generic, but that is time consuming. Okay, take a lot of time. What I'll do for now, we are going to show the contact records. I'll also give some references completely how we can make it generic. That means I don't bother about a particular object. All I do, I give object API name and I'll give some fields to show. And then maybe I'll supply some filter to show, to apply and get the data and show. That kind of level also we can do, but it is time taking. Okay, so that's why I'm just going with the basic. We are going to query from the contact records and display those contacts here. Okay, so let's say here we are going to display the first name and last name of the contact, first name, the last name, and the mobile phone and email. Mobile and email. Mobile, email, those are the fields we are going to display. Email. And the other rows we don't want for now, just deleting. So that's it. Okay, so first name, last name, mobile, email. So these are the columns we are going to display. So here also we have, for now I want to just here 1, 2, 3, 4, only those I'm keeping. Remaining data we don't want. Okay, only one row is sufficient for us for our testing. Okay. Yeah, so this is the row. Inside that, this is the data. So now this we need to make it dynamic. For that, I think we should have the data. Then only we can maybe hold this data and make it dynamic. So first, I want to connect this component with one of the Apex class and query write the logic to have the records and display here. I'm just pressing F1 in the Apex class. So maybe I want to follow this name. Press F1 Apex class controller. This is the class name. And associate that class with this component controller. Okay. So now this one I'm using @Aura enable. For now, I'm just giving this, and here I want to return the list of records. This is very straightforward. I don't want anything else. I know that only the records should be returned. Okay. So here I will say get context. I'm not following our whatever map of string comma object. Okay. This time I'm directly returning the list of contacts. So query, so return, select ID comma first name comma last name comma email comma mobile phone from contact, right, where first name comma where. So I'm going to apply some filter here. Maybe if you don't have any filter, it is dangerous. What I'll do, I'm going to use limit. Instead of limiting to 50,000, we know that the maximum limit is 50,000. So instead of doing that, we have a limits class. Okay, limits class, limits dot get limit query rows. This will give the maximum number of records as per the current governor limits. Okay. Now these records we are returning, and we need to call this. We need to call this on page load, right? So that means we need to use a handler, right? So here handlers on load we need to call. Okay. So here our handler name is equal to init. Okay, value init. While referring we use as init, and always it should be this. And the action I'm going to call CDOT. I think most of the times we are doing this. On load, due to this it is handling one of the system event, and we are controller. Where is that?
Third last.
Okay. So this is render.
Third last.
Okay, this one doing it and then component. So now on load, automatically we know the procedure. From here it will call this. Here I'm writing the logic. Let's say I want to keep the logic in the helper. Okay, helper dot handle do init. To this I am supplying the component and event. Now in the helper I am going to define this function. Helper this one. Okay, so here handle do init. Component and the event will be supplied. Now here we write the logic to call the Apex method. So now here I'm defining constant and action is equal to, we know the procedure how we call, get c dot name of the method, right? So I think where is our class? This is the class, this is the method name we are giving, and there are no parameters to set, right? So directly $a dot nq action, and here to handle callback, here to handle the callback. So I'll say action dot set callback, and here this comma function. Okay, so handling the callback. Here we give response, response, the callback function we are writing. So here getting the state is equal to response dot get state. Okay, if it is equal to success, so let's say it's not success, then display console.log. So here, you know this backtick, right? So if you use this one we call as text template. So here error, I'll say error with the state. The advantage is no need to use plus symbol. Wherever dynamic content is there, you need to give here. Right? I'll say state. Okay, error with the state. Right? And also maybe I want to print that error so that as a developer you can understand so what is going wrong. Right? Response dot get error. Okay, in case of success, straightforward we get all these records, right? So constant and the records is equal to response dot get return value, whatever the method returns. Now this time the list of contacts I'm storing into this attribute, I mean this variable. So this one I want to assign to a variable on the UI. Okay, so here I'm going to define one of the variable to hold all the records. I'm defining a variable apex attribute, name is equal to all records. Okay, that's the name I'm giving. Type is equal to, I'm giving list like this. Now all these records I can I want to set into this attribute, right? Component dot to assign the value to the attribute. Set v dot, this is the attribute name. Whatever the records we get from the method, I'm assigning to this. Okay, now, so what will happen due to this? All the records are here after this is executed. Okay, now we need to, maybe initially I'm going to iterate over all these things and display the records, right? So here this rows should be generated multiple times. When you want to iterate over the collection, so what we use in Aura, what we use, right? We took many examples, right?
Or iteration.
Aura iteration, right? So we need to use Aura iteration. Here items.
Also, Srinu, on line, it should be Aura attribute instead of Apex attribute.
Yeah. Nowadays I explained about visual force component, maybe. Yeah. So Aura attribute. So now Aura iteration. Now here all the records will be into this, right? Items v dot all records, right? That's the attribute name. From that, each and every record. Let's say I'm giving like this. Okay. Now this row should be generated multiple times. Now we are going to make this one dynamic. So let's say here row dot the first name record, right? Record dot first name. So this is our looping variable. Okay. Here also same thing, paste it, and paste it. Okay, maybe here I'll say last name. And for mobile, I think third column we are taking as mobile. For mobile field, API name is mobile phone. Okay. We see when we query how we query. We see mobile phone, right? Same thing I'm referring here. Mobile phone. And then the same way for email, API name is email. Okay, we are giving. And also, I think one extra row is there. This row we use for the actions. I think here we keep one heading with the name actions and we keep it further. Okay, so here I'll say actions. Actions. Okay. Now maybe let's deploy and see how it is looking so far. And on top of that, we are going to enhance. Right?
The title on the line number 16 should be first name.
Yeah. Okay, so now deploy. Go back. Now I think we need to see the preview for that now. Say the name, we followed this one. Let's copy from here. Okay, so now you are seeing the preview. I think it is getting all the records, right? And the actions, we have to take care of that part. Okay, I'll add. For now, just we are adding something randomly. Now I think so far whatever we decided is working fine. Now let me add actions, the row level actions. For that I want to use some button icons. Okay. So for that go to this Lightning component library. We have button icon. Click on button icon. So I want something like this. On click on that, I think so it has to do that. By default, it should be like this. Okay, so maybe let's deal with. I think this is better. I think. Okay, let me go with this. First one, copy. Go here and here in this place, in this row, table heading. Okay, so the first column in the each record. Okay. So here I'm removing that. Here I'm keeping. So we'll say actions. Inside that I'm keeping. Okay. We need eye icon, right? Not a settings icon. For that, if you go to this icons, left side icons, utility, I think view, yeah, preview. I think this is better. I'm going to use this one. Go back. So main thing here, utility preview. Okay, see on click on that what you want to do. That will decide later. Maybe I don't want to do anything. Maybe we'll decide that later. Okay, for now let's save it and see how it is looking. Maybe similar to this, we need 3 icons, right? The same thing I am pasting based on how it is looking will change. Okay. So now it runs successfully. Now go back. Just to refresh. Okay, now I think it is okay. Looking fine. Okay, so now I have to change the edit. For edit icon, I think we can find some icon for edit. I think this is better. We have edit for editing. And the third one, delete. Delete. We have delete also. Go back and for delete. Yeah, this is just to change the icons. And the first one is very easy, preview. Whenever we click on preview, it should be navigated to that record, right? Let's say here, if I click on preview, this record, whatever contact is there, it should be navigated to that. So this button, I want to make it clickable like a hyperlink. I want to keep. What I'm doing, I'm taking one anchor tag, href, the location where it should navigate, slash, and the record ID. So if you want to open any record, after .com/record ID if you give, it will be opening the record detail base. Same concept I'm using here. The URL should be slash. We're iterating over each and every contact record. All these are contacts, right? ID. Slash record ID means that record will be open. But also on click on this, I want to open that in a new Chrome tab. It should not replace, go away from the table. So for that we have target. Target. I'm giving target blank. Okay. Now inside this, I'm keeping this button, and here on click on this button, I don't want to call any function. That part I'm just removing. Okay. Now I'm enclosing this inside the anchor tag. Now let's see how it looks. Deploy. Just to refresh. Somehow, why everything is it deployed? I think it's not deployed. Okay, so somehow here, when you use expressions in the Aura, I cannot give like this. So what I'll do, everything should be in the inside, and this is a string. So like this, we need to form the string. Okay, like Visual Force, it won't work. Maybe that's the problem. Just deploy. And now it is deployed. Go back. Just to refresh. Okay, so now we have this. So I have all these records. Click on this preview, right? Preview. Now if you see, it is opening. That particular contact is opening. I think that part we are done. The remaining thing, edit and delete, will come back later after applying the pagination. Okay. Now focus on maybe applying the pagination. So that part. Already we have that component, right? So let me add that component somewhere below to this table. Pagination buttons to show that we have C colon pagination. And also from here, we are going to decide what is the last page number, right? We don't know how many records the contact, how many total records are there. It's all based on the total number of records. The last page number will be decided in this component. Okay, and also when you click on those buttons, the page number 1, 2, 3, that will be decided in other component. When there is a change in value in the other component, the pagination component to reflect here, instead of firing the events here, I'm using a concept called data binding, right? Right? So we maintain a variable. So here, say page number. In this component also, I'm going to define page number. Okay. Now, either in the pagination component, if there is a change, or in our current component, if there is a change, it will supply to the places. Okay. So in the same way, last page number is equal to v dot last page number. Okay, these two we need to keep here. Pagination attributes. Okay, I'm going to define attribute with this name page number. It should be integer. Here also I want to keep the default value as 1. Okay, now the last page number will be calculated on init, right? So in do init we are going to calculate the last page number, this value. Okay, and also we don't want to show all the records, right? For now we are showing all the records. To hold only the current records, only to hold the current records which we need to display, I'm defining one of the attribute. And also, what is the pagination size per page? How many records you want to see? To hold that, I'm defining one of the variable limit size, and by default giving us 5. That means 5 records per page we are going to display. Now, how we decide the current records, current set of records, and how we decide this last page number, right? To hold total number of pages, it should be calculated in it. Okay, so first we have to focus on calculating that, and also focus on getting the current records on the page load. Okay, so for this our logic should be in the do init. Once we have all the records here we have to logic for the pagination. Okay, now our main goal, we have to get the total number of pages. How many total number of pages are there? So that we need to get. For the last page number is nothing but total number of pages. To calculate that, so what we need, we have already records, total records. We also need to have the limit size. What is the limit size, right? So limit size we have in that attribute component dot get v dot the limit size in that attribute, whatever the value is there, that one. Total number of records by limit size, that will give the number, right? So here last page number is equal to total number of records, right? Records here, records by records length, right? What is the length? The size by the limit size. Limit size. Okay, let's say assume that there are 30 records. 30 by 5, 6. Total number of pages 6. That is correct. There are 31 records. 31 by 5. Again, it will give 6. 6.1. 6.1 means 6.01 something. So that means on the 7th page there should be one record, right? So whatever the value is there, for that we need to, even if there is something like 0.001 also, we need to round to next number. So when you want to round up to the next number, okay, we use seal, one of the JavaScript function, math.seal. Okay, it will round off to the next number. This is the documentation. Mostly this is the documentation JavaScript developers see. Okay, so when it is like this also, it should be next number, right? This concept we are using here. Okay, copy here, whatever the result is there, right? The next number, round to the next number, always. Okay, so now finally this should be assigned to this attribute, right? You can say component dot set v dot page number and this page number. I think both same name. So that's it. Now we have how to get only subset of records and display, right? Get only the subset of records based on the current page number. If the current page number is 1, we need to show from 0 to 4. The page number is 2, we need to show from 5th index to 9th index, right? Total 5 records. So that logic I want to write in some other method, right? Here I'll say handle subset, handle records subset. Let's say this is the name I'm giving, function here. Let's handle them. Okay, this one to call from here, right? This dot, if you want to call in helper JS file from one function to other function, if you want to call this dot, the name of the other function. This is the way. Okay, so now here we are going to write the logic to get the subset. So first of all, we should have the total records. Constant records is equal to, in that component, I think in the all records attribute we have, right, v dot. here we are setting whatever all records we are getting all records. So from this we need only subset. That's why I'm getting only the subset. For that the calculation. So I'll say constant subset of records is equal to, here we need to do the calculation. In JavaScript, when you deal with the array, there is a function called slice. Okay, so when you have 100 elements in array, we can decide from which element to which index to which index values you want. Based on index what we supply, it will give those records. Let's say if I say slice of 0, 5. Okay, if I give like this, what it will do from that array, from 0th index to 4th index, right? This value won't be included. As a second index, whatever value we use, before to that, whatever the number is there, those many records it will slice. Okay, so last one is not included. Okay, that's what will happen. Same thing. Let's say when you are on the second page, right? From which index you want? I want from 5th index. Up to which value? Up to 9th. But when you give 10, it won't include the 10th record. Up to 9 only. 5 to 9. Same thing we need to automatically calculate. So this one, how we can calculate based on the current page number and also the limit size. So we need those also, right? So here for page number component.get v dot page number, we have this attribute. Make sure that we are giving proper names. Okay, page number and the limit size is equal to component.get. We have that size. Now what I'll do here, let's say we are on the first page, right? When you are on the first page, what should be the value here? 0. So now here what I'll do, the limit size, whatever the limit size is there, limit size is 5 multiplied by page number, right? When we are on the first page number, the value is 1, right? 5 multiplied by 1, 5, right? But I want 0. What I'll do, I'm subtracting -1 from here. Now limit size 5 multiplied by 1 minus 1, 0, 0. As the second value, what we need? 5, right? So what I'm giving, limit size multiplied by page number. Let's say when you are on the first page, page number is 1. 5 multiplied by 1, 5. Right? So when we are on the first page, the values will be like 0 and 5. Let's say when you are on the second page, if you see second page, right, limit size 5 multiplied by 2 minus 1, right, 1. That means 5. It will be 5. And the second one, 5 multiplied by 2, right, page number, 5 into 2, 10. Right, that means 5th index to 9th index. Those values it will give. So that's the calculation we are doing. So this is having a subset of records. All I am doing, current page number, current records, I am setting that subset, right? Component dot set v dot into that. I am setting. So that's it. This will do onload. All these calculations are happening, and we have the subset on the UI. Instead of iterating over the all records, we are going to iterate over this subset, right? Now let's see what is happening. Now we have to see only 5 records. So here, just to refresh, 5 records on it. Now when I click on next, there is a change in the number, right? There is a standard event, value change. Whenever there is a change in the attribute, system will fire one event called value change. Now I'm going to handle that and use that to calculate our subset. Okay. So here I'll say on changing of the page number attribute value to regenerate subset of records. Okay, we are here handling Aura handler name change. Which value changes it should fire. Here we have to give when there is a change in the page number, right? That time what is the function you want to call? That function we need to give. Maybe directly helper function we cannot call. Okay. So let's say in the controller, here I'll say get record subset. Okay. Function. So since directly we cannot call the helper functions from the component, right? Obviously we need to call the helper function, helper dot okay, but since directly we cannot call helper, this one we call and this it is going to call them. Okay, now go back and do that. Okay, so due to that, whenever we click on next button, previous button, this event will take care of detecting that change and we'll be having the proper subset. Okay, yeah. So now when you click on next, if you see here, observe. Okay, so it is not firing whatever I am expecting. Handler change page number. Okay, here I have to give v dot page number. Just refresh. Right now, if you see here, the pagination, I think it is structured or what. Okay, it took some time. Okay, and also maybe if needed, we show the loading icon. Maybe I did not cover that loading icon, how we show that scenario. Tomorrow we'll add that part and deal with the delete and edit. Okay. So I think we'll continue tomorrow. Any questions before ending? Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Mostly we can maybe complete by tomorrow. If there are some use cases, again, maybe by day after tomorrow we come. Okay. Thank you.